Let me ask you something. What were you doing exactly 17 days ago? Not last week, not last month, exactly 17 days ago. Chances are you have no idea. But now, think about your very first day at school. Somehow, you can still remember the classroom, the teacher, maybe even the smell. How can your brain remember something from 20 years ago, but completely erase something that happened just 17 days ago? And that's not the strangest part, because the older you get, the faster your life seems to disappear. Summers become weeks, weeks become days, and before you know it, another year is gone. So what if time isn't actually speeding up? What if your brain is? And once you understand why, you may never experience time the same way again. Every New Year's Eve, millions of people make the same promise. This year will be different. They set goals, make plans, start fresh. Then, almost without warning, it's December again. And everyone says the same sentence. Where did this year go? We usually laugh it off. We blame work, we blame stress, we blame getting older. But here's the strange part. This isn't just something people say. It's a feeling shared by millions of people in different countries, speaking different languages, living completely different lives. Somehow, they all reach the same conclusion. Life feels like it's speeding up, yet nothing around us has changed. A minute is still 60 seconds. A day is still 24 hours. Earth still takes 365 days to orbit the sun. So, if time hasn't changed, why has our experience of it changed so dramatically? This question has fascinated philosophers, psychologists, and neuroscientists for generations. Even the pioneering psychologist William James argued that our sense of time depends on the richness of our experiences, not simply the ticking of a clock. More than a century later, modern neuroscience is beginning to reveal he may have been closer to the truth than anyone imagined. Because what you're about to discover isn't just about time, it's about the way your brain quietly rewrites your life. And to understand that, we first need to challenge the explanation almost everyone believes. Ask almost anyone why life feels faster as we grow older, and you'll probably hear the same answer. Because adults are busy. It sounds reasonable. Children have long summers. Adults have deadlines, meetings, bills, responsibilities. So naturally, life feels faster, right? Not exactly. Because this explanation falls apart the moment you test it. Imagine a 10-year-old child spending an entire Sunday at home. No school, no homework, nothing exciting. Now imagine a 40-year-old adult also spending an entire Sunday doing absolutely nothing. Same 24 hours, same sunrise, same sunset. Yet somehow, the child ends the day thinking, that felt like forever. While the adult wonders, how is it already Monday? So maybe being busy isn't the real answer. This question has fascinated scientists for decades. One of them was psychologist Daniel Kahneman, who proposed that we experience life in two very different ways. The experiencing self lives in the present moment, but the remembering self is the version of you that tells the story of your life. And here's the surprising part. These two versions don't always agree. A vacation may feel like it ended too quickly while you're living it, yet months later, it can feel like one of the longest periods of your year. Same trip, same 7 days, completely different experience. Because your brain doesn't simply record time, it reconstructs it. Which leads to a question that changes everything. If your memories are rewriting your experience of time, what exactly are those memories made of? To answer that, we have to look inside the brain itself. For centuries, people believed that memories were like pages, carefully stored inside the brain. But modern neuroscience tells a very different story. Every second, your eyes, your ears, and your senses send an overwhelming amount of information to your brain. If your brain tried to remember everything, it would be impossible to function. So instead, it makes a choice. It deletes almost everything. It only keeps what it believes is important. This process depends on a region deep inside your brain called the hippocampus. Think of it as your brain's memory architect. It decides which moments become lasting memories and which disappear forever. Neuroscientist David Eagleman explains that our perception of time isn't created by a clock inside the brain. Instead, it's reconstructed from the memories that survive. Imagine recording two videos. One lasts an hour, but nothing interesting happens. The other also lasts an hour, but every few minutes something completely unexpected occurs. Which one would feel richer when you watch it years later? Your brain works the same way. It doesn't ask how much time passed. It asks, how many meaningful moments did I save? And that's why two people can live through the exact same amount of time, yet remember it completely differently. But this raises another mystery. If the hippocampus is responsible for building memories, why does it seem to create so many memories in childhood and so few as we grow older? The answer lies in one powerful word: novelty. Close your eyes and think about your childhood. Chances are you don't remember every day, but you do remember your first day at school, learning to ride a bicycle, your first best friend, your first family vacation, your first heartbreak. Notice something? Almost every memory begins with the same word: first. That's not a coincidence. Your brain is designed to pay extraordinary attention to experiences it has never seen before. Neuroscientists call this novelty. When something is new, your brain shifts into high alert. It observes more details, stores more information, and builds stronger memories. That's why childhood feels so incredibly long when you look back. Because your brain wasn't just living those years, it was documenting them. But adulthood is different. The alarm rings, you drive the same road, sit at the same desk, have the same conversations, return to the same home. Day after day, your brain begins to recognize a pattern. And once it recognizes a pattern, it stops paying close attention. Why waste energy recording something you've already experienced hundreds of times? So your brain quietly compresses those days, not because they mattered less, but because they looked the same. And that's the moment life begins to accelerate. Not on the calendar, inside your memory. But then comes a fascinating mystery. If novelty stretches time, why does a one-week vacation feel like it disappears so quickly? Yet, months later, it feels surprisingly long. Think about the last vacation you took. While you were there, it probably felt like it ended too quickly. Every morning seemed to race into the next, and before you knew it, you were packing your bags to go home. But then, something strange happened. A few months later, you looked back at that same trip, and somehow it felt much longer than the week you had just lived. How can the exact same 7 days feel short and long at the same time? Psychologist Daniel Kahneman believed the answer lies in two different versions of ourselves: the one that lives the moment and the one that remembers it. they don't experience time the same way. While you're living an experience, your attention is focused on what's happening next. But later, your brain looks back and counts something completely different. Not seconds, memories. Every new street, every unfamiliar meal, every unexpected conversation, every wrong turn becomes another bookmark inside your memory. And when your brain sees hundreds of bookmarks, it concludes, that must have lasted a long time. But routine works differently. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday begin to merge together. Your brain stops creating bookmarks. Entire weeks become a single memory. And that's why an ordinary month can disappear faster than a remarkable weekend. Researchers studying time perception have repeatedly found that novel, unexpected experiences leave richer memory traces than repetitive ones, helping explain why unfamiliar periods often seem longer in hindsight. Which means your life isn't shrinking, your memories are. And if that's true, then one final question remains. Can you actually make your life feel longer without adding a single extra day? If your brain creates the feeling that life is speeding up, then one question becomes impossible to ignore. Can you change it? Surprisingly, yes, but not by slowing the clock, by changing what your brain chooses to remember. Scientists who study memory have discovered something fascinating. The brain isn't interested in ordinary moments. It remembers what is different, what is emotional, what is unexpected. Which means every time you try something for the first time, your brain starts paying attention again. Learn a new language, visit a place you've never been, start a hobby that scares you, have a conversation with someone completely different from you. Even something as simple as taking a different route home can force your brain out of autopilot. Because the opposite of memory isn't forgetting, it's repetition. And repetition is what makes years disappear. Think about the people who say, I don't know where the last 10 years went. Maybe they didn't lose 10 years. Maybe they simply stopped creating enough moments for their brain to separate one year from the next. So perhaps the secret to making life feel longer isn't living more years. It's making this year feel different from the last one. Because in the end, your brain can only remember the life you actually lived. Every person watching this is carrying a memory they didn't know would be the last. The last time you played outside until the streetlights came on.
That was amazing.
The last time your parents picked you up because you were too tired to walk. The last time all your childhood friends were together, without knowing life was about to pull you apart. The last summer when nothing seemed impossible. The strange thing is, you never recognize the last time while it's happening. Because if you did, you'd stay just a little longer. You'd hug just a little tighter. You'd listen just a little more carefully. But life never tells you this is the last time. It simply becomes a memory. Maybe that's why we believe time moves faster as we grow older. Not because life gave us fewer days, but because we stopped noticing the ordinary moments that quietly became the most extraordinary memories. One day, you'll watch an old photograph and suddenly realize you were living the days you now miss the most. And maybe that's the greatest illusion your brain ever creates. It convinces you that ordinary moments are ordinary until they're gone forever. So don't wait for a perfect day to create a memory. Because one day, today, will be the day you wish you could live one more time. So before this day ends, look around, pay attention, laugh a little longer, call someone you love, watch the sunset without reaching for your phone. Because memories aren't created by extraordinary lives. They're created by extraordinary attention to ordinary moments. Before you leave, I want you to do one thing. Tonight, before you fall asleep, ask yourself this question. What happened today that I'll still remember 10 years from now? If the answer is nothing, then maybe today wasn't stolen by time. It was lost to routine. And tomorrow, you get another chance. Not to live longer, but to live more memorably. One day, today will be a memory. Make it worth remembering.